Here's an update on the RV project. About have the main part of the box built as far as the roof and the walls. I don't have the cab over built yet. It's actually one of the only pieces of wood I'm going to be able to reuse is this one laying on this old picnic table. And that was part of the cab over. And the wood that had went through here on both sides and whatever, that was all rotted, but I think I think this is about the equivalent of 3 or 4 8-foot 2x4s, and that is going to be the total of what I was able to salvage off of this 78 RV as far as the wood structure goes. But I'll try to go around here. I've got it tarped over right now. It looks like it's going to rain, and the tarp on the top, that's, if you go to an outdoor lumber yard, they wrap those around they wrap that around lumber, so it kind of it's cheap, they'll give them to you. So I've got that on top, and then a couple tarps on the ends. I think I've already showed the motor and stuff in the other videos, and still haven't got my windows put back in. I still have to order the seals for that. This compartment here, this is I think this is where they stored the jacks before, and I won't be using it. I'll probably be putting different style jacks on. But when you're doing these, keep in mind that like this had some insulation at one time, but I've cleaned this up. But this area here, this is the floor level, and from this area up, all needs insulation, because that's that goes into your living space. So what I'm going to be using when I do it is this 2-inch foam, and I'm going to line that with 2-inch foam, and then over that I'll be using some marine grade vinyl or something like that, and it serves two purposes. One, it insulates, but the other purpose, just keep things from rattling around in there. You can see the aluminum here, how I'm doing that, the aluminum tape. I may have showed that before on a video, but this is a peel and seal, and so the back side, this is how that wraps, and this is a 3/4 board here, 3/4 pine, and then once it's done, wrap it really well, and the peel and seal is the way I went about it, and I think that'll keep you know, water from being able to get to it once I put the trim on. And part of my goal with this is to make this waterproof before the metal ever goes on. That may turn out to be possible. It may not, but that's what I'm shooting for. But here's the other side. Got the back. Just stuck that piece of metal up there. I've painted it. But each piece of that metal will be painted before it's put back, but I just stuck that there for a place to put it. And here comes my help today. And let's see, so same thing with the peel and seal down this side. Rebuilt my steps. I've just used some treated wood. I'm not completely done with them, but that'll be covered with something, again with the peel and seal. Repaired this step. This rod is welded right here on these ends, or it had been. It had broke, so I just drilled it out, used some washers and a cotter key on it, and go inside. And a lot of framing still left to do. The framing, each I think I've showed some of this, but in all the joints I'm using a 2x4, but it's planed down to 1 inch, so it's a true 1 inch, then it's by 3.5. And so all of the joints you can see here where that is, and that's all glued and screwed, and still have a little more frame. And you can see how this is, you know, it's pretty flimsy right now until you get the frame in there. The top is 2x4s. Before it had a domed out 2x3 that had been raised, that had been domed high in the center, but it had just sagged out to where it all actually sagged the other way. So just make sure you turn your crowns up like you would anything else that you're building. But and then and then go from there. So all these, just make sure your crowns are up, and I use 2x4s, and I think that'll be fine. Again, that's glued and screwed as well. But you'll see everything. This window's a little closer to being done. So, and then we'll be still putting our frames in here. And this is a piece. Most of the foam we wasn't able to save because it had been glued in place, and so that just kind of got thrown away with the old rotted plywood. But that's a piece of it that we've saved from somewhere. But we won't be reusing that piece, I don't think. But we'll be putting in 1-inch foam, and it's going to go in there like that. And then when you put our paneling on, that lays flat. I think I went over some of that before, but it's kind of a demonstration. And then still have to build my wheel well boxes, and I'm just using the old ones as a pattern. And I'm probably not going to use the metal that they had before. Kind of tore it up, taking it off. I could remake the metal, but I've decided that the wood that I used and the wood that I'm going to use in the pill and seal will work. This box here, that's the one I showed you from the outside, the one I said needed insulated, and you can see why. You could also insulate on this side too, if you wanted. I think let's see, we're going to have R13 in the ceiling. The floor is a piece of 1/2 inch and a piece of 1-inch foam, so I think we're up to about R7 or 8 on that. The walls will be, I think, about an R5, and the back wall and the front wall, I think that will all be that'll be about an R10. So I'm trying to make this as energy efficient as I can. But one of the things that starts to sturdy it up is when you get into the tying it into the cab. And so that is, before they had a 2x6 with something else screwed to the side of it or nailed to the side of it. So I just started off with a 1x12 and trimmed it down and make it follow this. You can see how this kind of runs true with that. And then so when you put your interior together, that right there will have like a padded vinyl. But still stuck some spark plug wires on it. Still have a little bit more to do up front there, but it's coming along. So I'll update again soon.